Hello all. So today we are going to see one troubleshooting session actually here. So in our protractor with TypeScript series, we have seen few of the element handling, what do you call features, how protractor is using to what do you call perform actions on the browser element, and then few of the Angular controls, and how we can overcome the waiting, and then how we can execute the code base. And then after that we kind of went ahead to create our own utility method where we can like put all of the browser actions in a proper manner so that we can use throughout our framework. And this is mostly helpful for the page object model. So when you want to design a page object model, these actions basically will help you a lot, where you can wait for element, you can click on any element, and then you can even handle the elements like multiple elements as well. So just to recap actually what we did, so we had actually one file here under this utility. We had this page element .ts file, right, where we have taken like one click method. So basically how we are performing, so we are taking a constructor which is basically will accept the bilocator, and based on that bilocator we were getting the element first, because for everything we need to first identify this particular element, right? And we were taking the element finder. So this is basically what you call the element return type. So when you mouse over an element, you will see the element finder is the return type. So we were taking that one. So by using this get element method, we can perform send keys, we can get the value, and we can check whether the existence of that particular element and all those things. But we have observed that I mean at the beginning when we have designed this page element.ts, it was not throwing any error. Probably I think 1 year back we have designed this, and then after that I kind of made freeze myself to do more actually on this particular framework, because I moved to other technology. But then I was keep on getting the complaints in between. The TypeScript got changed, got upgraded, and people upgraded their scripts because they were continuing with their framework, and then they got stuck in that. So I was getting lot of comments actually into this YouTube session where it was giving this error actually. So it's saying that the return type of an async function must either be a valid promise or must not contain a callable then member. So it means that this async await is not what you call kind of supporting this element finder, because they are still using the classic way of resolving the promises, not using the async await method. Okay, so then I was digging around and then looking into how we can kind of what do you call overcome this. And then so just to show you the comments, so I was getting most of the people, they were giving me these errors that most of the people are getting. So here you can see they were getting the same problem which I was just showing you guys, the same thing. And then here also most of the folks were telling that. So I was thinking that it could be problem with their code or the way they were cloning. But then recently when I was looking more into that, one of the person actually recently kind of what you call shared that there is a TypeScript issue actually where you can see this one. It's unable to return element finder from an async method. So this particular person is also doing the same thing, and then it got stuck and the issue is still open. There were like few of the communications went ahead, but I have tried most of these options to make it work around, but it did not work out. But then I was thinking, why not we can give another approach to our what do you call existing framework and then get it done. Okay, so if you are coming to this session, or else if you have followed my previous sessions where like designing the page object model by using this page element.ts file, so definitely you will be getting this kind of problem actually, which I'm just showing here. So after a long time actually I have pulled my own code, and then I was just checking, and then I've seen that few of the libraries got updated. So I just moved to the bumped this particular framework to the latest version of each of the libraries that I'm using. So I will be pushing the same code to the Git repository so that you can take it, and then uh, you can use it out of the box without any change. Okay, so let's go to this page element, and then let's try to understand the problem and then get what else we can do that, okay, with this element finder. So basically this element finder, what is this element finder? So this is basically one of the protractor wrapper on top of the web element. So if you ever know about the web element, if you're coming from the Selenium background, I hope most of you are coming from the Selenium background. So protractor made a wrapper actually on top of the web element. So if you go inside this somewhere, it is telling that it is basically extending the web element actually. So why not we can take that web element as a directly to this promise, because that automatically supports the async await. So for this what I can do, so I can just do like this. So when you say web element, you can see there is one web element promise actually, and this supports the async await. So you can see web element promise is a promise that will be fulfilled with web element. So if you are using async await, you can use the web element promise to use the web element out of the box. So I'm using that, and then what I will be doing, if you see the by locate or the element which we are using throughout this particular file, we were taking element finder, so we can take this one as a web element promise. Okay, so here I can use this one, and then you can see automatically it came as a imported automatically. Now if you see, we are getting still some error after changing this one as well. So you can see this is coming a different error. So it is saying that property catch is missing in type element finder but required a web element promise. So it means that, as I was telling, web element promise is a parent of the element finder, but we are returning actually a element finder, because whenever we are using this element, this is a protractor specific method, right, which is returning, you can see the return type element finder, which we are assigning to a variable that is basically web element promise. So to cast it, what you can do, if you put a dot here, you will see something called as get web element. Now this is a method actually. Okay, so as you can see, this get web element, you can see it is returning a web element promise, and my error is gone here. So pretty much whatever I'm doing with this element, I can do with this element as well. There is nothing much difference. There are two differences I will show, which basically will not affect our framework. Even I will show you that, but before to that, let me change this one as well. Get web element get web element, and this is a method, not a property. Now you can see the error is gone, everything is done. Before I will be going ahead to show you the differences, let me first execute this. Yeah, we are getting one more error actually. So just to fix this one, if you see this get element, you can see it is a web element promise. Now this web element promise don't have element method actually, because this is parent, right? So instead of that, I will do the Selenium's default find element. Okay, so element method for what we are using actually, so we are using basically this element to identify certain element. The same thing we can use the find element. There is no much difference in that. And by saying this find element, I can use any of the Angular specific what you call locator strategies. So if I put a dot, you can see I can do ng binding. I can use the button text, which is not available in the Selenium but is available with protractors. All by specific, I mean, what do you call the properties or the methods, locator strategies? I can use everything. Repeater, I can use tag name, I can use button text. So all these things I can use it. So there is not much difference between finding an element. One thing is there, if you see, let me do one thing. Let me go to this and put this line, and something I'm using here, like I'm using something. If I put a dot, you can see I'm getting actually these two things, dollar and dollar dollar. So these are basically a short format of the what you call CSS selector and XPath. Okay, so this is the only difference which I won't get after performing this get web element, because this is very specific to the Selenium stuff. But if you see in our framework, we are not much using that dollar actually, because we are using all the buy locator stuff only. Whatever it is coming after buy, we are using that. So even though having this difference will not impact our framework, but just for the informational purpose I'm just showing that this is the difference. But still, if you argue and if you want to use that one, the only option what you can do, you can just do this element, you have to cast it actually whatever you are doing. So you can just do like this, so this dot get element method, and you can do that. So whatever the web element it is returning, you can convert that to element and then put dot, you will get all the options for that. So this is again another workaround, so you can use that, but then rarely you need that, so you need not to worry about that thing actually. Okay. And another good thing about this get web element, let's say you want to execute any of the JavaScript executor in protractor, so you can out of the box you can use this el element. But whenever you are using this element of, basically sometimes it won't work, because JavaScript executor whatever you are using inside that, that won't accept this element finder actually, so that accepts this web element. So one benefit of making this get a web element is that this get element whatever you are getting, you can use directly inside your web JavaScript executor, like to click an element or to get some text or to enter some value. If in case you are using the JavaScript executor by using execute script method, you can use this get element. But before, where the classic way element of, by using this particular method you might not have done that. Okay, or it might not have worked actually. So that's why we have this benefit actually. But just for informational purpose I'm just giving you the insights of the differences between the previous approach and having this get web element, so that if in future if you need something, or if you require some of the situations to handle that, you should be aware of what this particular framework is all about. As per that you can fix your code. Okay. So I just did two changes to this page element.ts file. I've changed this element finder, and then I bumped all these what you call libraries to the latest version, which it might change even after 1 month 2 month. You can just keep searching into the Google and then you can change the versions. And then as soon as you download this particular code or clone this code, what you can do, you can execute, go to the terminal of this particular project folder, you can just do a npm install. This will install all the latest version of the libraries. Then you might need to do, so once you do this install, you will get the node modules, which you all guys already know. That I'm just recap doing that. And then here you will be doing the WebDriver manager. Oops, where did I type? Okay, not here. Okay, so WebDriver manager, oops, I think it should be node modules. Okay, so node modules slash dot bin, and then here you will get the WebDriver manager. And here you need to do first update, so that it will download all the latest version of your browser drivers, be it Chrome, Gecko driver, or Edge driver, whatever it is there. So once you update that, once it is done, you have to use the same command and make it as a start to start your Selenium server. Okay, as you can see, it says Selenium server is up and running on this particular port. Then I will be adding another what you call command line, and then I will say npm run test. Okay, so what this does, so this will pick up all the specs from my package dot j sorry, not package, conf.ts file configuration, whatever I have mentioned here. So if I go to this will basically will run all of the bank manager test. Now let's go to this bank manager test, and you can see this will run this particular test case, where it will navigate to the bank manager login page, add a customer, sorry, navigate to the customer screen and add a customer by entering the name and postal code. And we have two test cases. I basically ignored this one so that it will run only this particular. And now this whole framework is very much set for the async await test, so you need not to worry about the synchronizing the test steps. So let's go ahead and run this test. Okay, so as you can see, it made bit faster, and all of the what you call test cases ran. And how do you know that? See here, you can see it navigated to the bank manager login, and then it clicked on the add customer, and it filled the values on these fields, and then it clicked on process, so that we have got an alert where it is telling that customer added successfully. So that's how you can even log to your what do you call, to a file or to your console, and you will come to know that the test case got passed. Okay, so you can just pull this code and then try to execute your test cases if you have used any other applications in your while practicing, or else in your real time what do you call applications. Okay, so hope this session is helpful. Do subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can learn different tools, and then let me know if you get any issues from this. Thank you for watching.